So, just finished watching She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Loved it. But this isn't a review. If you do want to see a review, go click the link below and check out my good friend C-Dub's review for the show. I was thinking about it, but I was like, oh, Craig's got it. And Craig actually did a really good review. Also, if you're new, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Comic Universe. And yeah, check out the other videos that me, Craig, and Jay have done for the channel. But self-promotion aside, this isn't, like I said, a review. This is instead a theory of where we could go next. Because as you know, She-Ra has a brother, Prince Adam. And Adam goes by a different name. He-Man. But yeah, so this is basically where I think Season 2 could go. Is that basically what could happen in Season 2 is that we get little mentions here and there of He-Man and Eternia and what have you. So that's why, and there's also been this rumor, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but basically, Adora, in this continuity, in the original continuity I should say, Adam and Adora were separated twin siblings, but this time around I heard the rumor that this time around Adora is the older sister and Adam is the younger brother. I don't know which is the case, but either way, they do want to do stuff with He-Man, and I'm just throwing around some ideas for it. Now, throughout the first season, the season of She-Ra, is that we see that Shadow Weaver was really treating, you know, Adora like her daughter, and treating Catra like, well, shit. But I think there was more to it. It wasn't so much maternal. It was more that I think Shadow Weaver, because she did say you're an orphan. You know, you're an orphan, and I'm treating you like a mother. But the thing is that I don't think that was maternal. I think it was more Shadow Weaver and Hordak had this idea, because they did, I have a feeling, yeah, they pretty much stole Adora from Eternia, and once they finished taking control of Etheria, they were going to turn their attention towards Eternia, and they would have claim to the throne with Adora. You know, they would probably, after, if they were successful, and had she not defected and become She-Ra, they would have been like, hey, we're here, and this is She-Ra, long-lost heir to the throne. What's that? You have a claim to the throne? Well, guess what? She-Ra, you know, has that claim first. Ha ha! Fuck you, Adam. That was probably their idea, and in doing so, Shadow Weaver and Hordak would be like the power, the real power behind the throne, and they could have a legitimate claim to Eternia. Never mind that, you know, Adam would, but he probably would have thought, we could probably take out Adam. And, you know, King Randor. The other thing is, you know, this does bring up the question, if that rumor was true, how old is He-Man going to be? Are they, because I feel like if they go with the whole younger brother, if Adam is younger, they might go the route of Shazam with He-Man. You know, they might go the route as like, oh, it's like Shazam, it's like a medieval version of Shazam, which is not too far off from what He-Man is. And it's funny because what they're doing with the Injustice crossover right now in Masters of the Universe versus Injustice. But I'm getting off topic right now, aren't I? Anyway, so I think that could be the case, is that what might happen in Season 2 is that we get a little more build-up. I don't think we'll be directly crossing over with He-Man, but I definitely see some build-up, and maybe even like a backdoor pilot for a coming He-Man, for a future He-Man cartoon. Because they did talk about, you know, spinning He-Man and making another one, because DreamWorks does want to do more in their animation department now that Disney's packing up and leaving Netflix's open ground. And we see that, yeah, they are doing, of course, the Pacific Rim animated series, so, yeah, DreamWorks is really stepping up their game in their animation department, so I think He-Man would be the next logical step with them. Plus, you know, Voltron is ending next month, sadly, so you kind of need, you know, you kind of need more action shows on there to get people interested. Now, where could you do, how could you do this? How I would do it, personally, is like, because remember, in the original continuity, Skeletor was the apprentice of Hordak. So maybe what you could do in this continuity is that Season 2, you have it that Hordak, because now Catra is his second-in-command, he's telling Catra, you know, there was another second-in-command I trusted, his name was Melchior, but I sent him on a special mission, he didn't come back. Not because he died, he just basically went, fuck you, I'm taking over. So, Melchior went rogue on me, so I can't trust Melchior anymore, and I don't know what happened to him. So, later on, I would have it that, after that little mention, is that, Anyway, what was I saying? Sorry, I had something came up. Yeah, this show is really professional, right, guys? Anyway, so as I was saying, like maybe what you could do is have it that not so much Skeletor shows up on his doorstep, but who does show up is Evil-Lyn, and maybe along with her, definitely I'd have Evil-Lyn, but I'd like to see like maybe Trapjaw and Beastman with her as well. Like the three of them show up and they're like, hey, we work for your former apprentice. We work for Melchior. Hordak would be like, you work for Melchior. Oh, he doesn't go by that name anymore. So what happens is that they work out a plan. It's like, hey, we've been hearing like you have been having problems with a certain princess, and we think it's a lost princess. So if we can take her out, then Eternia won't have any heirs. There is this boy named Adam, but your former apprentice has got it covered. So that would probably be like the episode, is that it focuses on Evil-Lyn, Trapjaw, and Beastman taking on She-Ra and being a real challenge to her, and that really opens her eyes into going, whoa, hold on, time out. These guys come from a place called Eternia, and really talk about the difference between Etheria and Eternia, as well as talk about Adam. And maybe what would be a really cool way to do it is you also have the Sorceress show up. Like, the Sorceress shows up and tells her all about the power of Grayskull, and more about the sword. I know there's a little different alterations in She-Ra, but maybe they could like tie it into like the myth of He-Man and She-Ra together. So that'd be kind of cool. That's how I would do it, at least. And maybe later on have Skeletor show up again, but he's like, and Hordak's like, what the shit happened to you? You could even have, like, how I'd probably even do it is that, since it looks like the Horde depends more on magic than it does, science than it does magic, I think what would be a cool way to play with this is that, Melchior got really into studying Etherian magic, and when he got to Eternia to be like the spearhead for the Horde's invasion, he was like, nah, fam, I'm gonna study dark magic, and he started to study Eternian magic. It literally blew up in his face, and turned him into Skeletor. So yeah, have it that he is now a mixture of science and magic, which was always kind of a thing for He-Man, really. That was always the thing for He-Man. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that is really cool. I think that'd be a cool way to play with it. Again, but what do I know? I'm just a fan. I'm curious. I really dug the She-Ra show. I'm kind of on the Catra She-Ra shipping boat. Come on, guys. You knew this was coming. But yeah, I do like where this show is going. I'm curious to see when they'll bring in He-Man, because it's not a matter of if, it's more of a matter of when. I would imagine Season 2 is that we'll get more mention, and maybe like we'll get name drops of Skeletor and more of Eternia. Maybe even see Adam, possibly, and then maybe even get a spin of, like I said, a backdoor pilot later on in Season 2. But I don't want it to be like all of Season 2. This is the thing. I don't want it to do the CW thing where it's like half the season is made to build up another show. Give me just a two-parter, and then continue on your merry way, She-Ra. Just give us a two-door, backdoor pilot, like how they did The Flash in Arrow, and then just go on your merry fucking way. You don't need to... He-Man could have his own show in the following year. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that's the kind of the thing, is I'm curious, like... That's how I would do it, is just, have at least Evil-Lyn in there. Evil-Lyn shows up, shows off that, they've been really getting into magic, where Hordak was like, magic, I was like, magic is Shadow Weaver's thing, it's not mine, and my apprentice, Melchior, he didn't listen to me, and now, yeah, he's become something else. So there you go. Anyway... So that's just my thoughts, guys. What do you guys think? What did you guys think? Actually, I'm stumbling over my words, I apologize. How do you think they'll bring in He-Man and everything else into the She-Ra show? Do you think they'll build up to it in the season? Do you think it'll just be a one episode or two-part episode? And how do you think they'll do it? Do you think they'll have Skeletor or one of his minions show up? Do you think they'll actually have Adam? Do you think they'll bring up the whole... difference between Eternia and Etheria, Really curious to see what you guys have to say. Also, just for shits and giggles, who would you have voice Skeletor, and who would you have voice the other characters for the evil horde? You know, for Skeletor's minions. We could talk all damn day about who could voice what, but let's just keep it with the bad guys. Me personally, I would like to see. I'd like to see Scott McNeil voice Skeletor. I'm being realistic, guys. I'm being really realistic for the VAs. But anyway, Scott McNeil, who of course did Dinobot and Repton. I think he'd be a cool guttural voice, honestly. But that's just me. Or Evelyn. I think Linda Cardellini would be cool as Evelyn. Or maybe you could just have. You already got Gray Griffin in there, so why not just have Gray be Evelyn? Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Once again, comment below, let me know, and once again, hope y'all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.